What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with NIO stock, what's going on with Tesla SPY, and a couple more tickers. I'm going to talk about what's going on with Tesla's earnings, which just came out, and some very important economic data for tomorrow. But before I begin the all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks. The offer ends very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's going on with the market. Looking at NIO, this thing is down quite a bit right now. It was down 2.25% for the day. It's also dropping in the after hours after we saw some negative reactions after Tesla's earnings report. But I want to talk about Tesla real quick in this video. I'm going to be breaking more details about this later on because something very big has come out for the company. I'm going to break down why it's going to be important for NIO. So let's first talk about some earnings. As a reminder, we had Tesla's earnings, which just finished. That's why I'm recording this video so late. Tesla's earnings just went on for a very long time. It just finished, and that's why I want to talk about this. And then for tomorrow, we have Intel and just a couple of others. But Tesla was a very important one. Now, on top of this, I just want to mention that for economic data, an hour before the market opens, we have the GDP growth rate coming out, the GDP numbers, not to mention initial jobless claims, 1 hour before the market opens. Watch and see what this data causes. This is going to be very important. We'll see what this causes for SPY and such. But just to be safe, guys, just know that the the reaction we're getting from Tesla could be a little bit negative. Tesla had some bad news as well. I'm going to be breaking this down as well. So what happened to Tesla? EPS was 71 cents adjusted versus the 74-cent expectation. So we had below average EPS. This was below expectations. And revenue was about 25.17 billion versus the 25.6 billion expected. Unfortunately, Tesla missed on earnings, not the best of news. We also have some more details about this for Q4. They didn't give us any like production estimates just yet. They said that they're not sure about those yet. They did mention that in mid 2025 or during the second half or later than that, a new model should be coming out, but they're not sure about how things will look for that and in preparation for that time frame. Cash flow increased to $29.1 billion. $15 billion was the net income. Energy storage deployment is up 125%, with the Model Y being the best selling vehicle of any kind. Some things were good, but their margins are still very slim. What was negative, though, is the fact that they missed on earnings. And for future reference, we're not really sure about how their numbers are going to be looking like. So, very mixed stuff overall. I wouldn't necessarily say guidance is weak or strong. It all depends on many different factors. Elon Musk also mentioned that it depends on interest rates. Tesla is very dependent on interest rates, and we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Otherwise, the news was very mixed for Tesla, not the best of stuff. On top of that, we have more details about their numbers and such. You can see right here the total automotive uh, revenue is over here a little bit more than what we got previously, as Q4 tends to be stronger. Margins improved just slightly relative to Q3, but overall still very slim. And revenue, that's excuse me, this is growth in their deliveries increased slightly. Total revenue grew 3% year over year. On top of that, there's some improvements. Besides that, total production and the numbers are still the same. We don't have many details for what's else is to come. Elon Musk also, in my opinion, trivialized Dojo. He said that it's risky and there's no guarantees in, its success, but they're still heavily dependent on and willing to bet on Nvda and the Dojo supercomputer nonetheless. There are other things that came out as well. They mentioned that Optimus is just a work in progress and it's unpredictable how things will look. And a lot of things were just very ambiguous. So unfortunately, we didn't get a whole lot of details or many things to help improve the share price. But it was good to hear that Tesla has a new model for 2025. Besides that, things have not changed. Production growth rate will be notably lower than in 2023, possibly. Uh, that's actually very important. So production, the numbers are not going to be lower. The growth rate is what might be a little bit lower. So we're not going to get like 30%, 50%. We're going to get something lower than that, unfortunately. Um, just not the not the best of news in my opinion. So it's a little bit negative for Tesla. As far as NIO goes, The news has come out that Bank of America Securities has given NIO a neutral rating. Hasn't really changed since. NIO's price-price ratio is down as NIO's looking relatively weak. And historically, Thursdays tend to be green about 50% of the time. So there's not much change there. And then we also need to watch for volatility around noon and 2 p.m. and also during the last hour of the day. NIO's volume was at about 75 million, so still dropping at a high volume. There's not really much of a change in the price versus short volume. So besides that, what's going on? Tesla is tanking right now, approaching 194 to 195. As it's tanking, this is very bearish. It's continuing to drop. If we lose 194, our next target is going to be 190, then 188 below that. And if we lose that, there's still a lot more downside potentially coming to these lower levels. But if anything, Tesla's looking bearish. It may continue to drop more, and it is what it is. There's not really a whole lot we can do about that. For SPY, as a reminder, SPY might actually pop tomorrow morning again, depending on the GDP numbers, but then it may continue to drop later on. So a little pop and drop is what I'm anticipating. We're going to be watching our support around 484, excuse me. We might retest 486 first before we come back down lower, but I could see a little pop and drop like move coming. Apple's at resistance right now, very close to 195. I think it might backtest 194.6 to 195 first at the 50 EMA. Then we might get a rejection. We might see this thing actually turn a little bit lower. A little pop and drop is a real possibility. The QQQ may be negatively impacted by Tesla. Look for a retest of this imbalance up here, 427, and then back down. I think this could be a trend change that could be forming, a little pop and drop like formation, so watch that very carefully. And Nvidia, of all things, is actually holding up very nicely, so we could see Nvidia just chop around the 620s again, but it's not looking that weak compared to other stocks out there. So with that being said, Tesla is continuing to tank. It's down almost 13 points. It's barely holding 195, not looking that strong. Looking at NIO, it's following Tesla, sinking as well, currently barely holding $6. The share price looks like it's very weak. And if we lose $6, we could be sinking back down towards 5.8. So 5.86 to 5.8 is our next target. If we continue to sink from here, and if we lose that, 5.66 and 5.5 are next. Resistance watch 6.09, 6.2, and 6.4. If anything, NIO is looking very weak. I think it might pop tomorrow, retest 6.09, then reject and start sinking towards 5.8. Unfortunately, it looks very weak. Tesla did not help it. Excuse me, I apologize, guys. Tesla is continuing to cause NIO to slow down. The numbers are not looking that great, and it is what it is, guys. There's not really a whole lot we can do about this. So, because the numbers don't look that great, because Tesla has been sinking, it is dragging NIO down, and this is not the best of news. But with that being said, I just want to thank every single one of you so much for listening. Unfortunately, Tesla is having a negative effect on the markets, so we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. With that being said, this might drag NIO down a bit. Please be very careful, and we'll just see what happens from there. Without further ado, thank you for listening. Have a great day. NIO is looking a little bit bearish, in my opinion. So be careful, guys, and watch that resistance and then support. We might pop towards 6.09 to 6.2 and then reject and come back down towards 5.8 again. It is what it is, but all we have to do is accept the reality of the situation. That is that Tesla is negatively impacting NIO. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow. The NIO and the market to the moon because the long term is still very bright despite the short term fluctuations. And peace out.